There's so much stuff in here, there's no way we could go over everything in the Buckham Bulletin, do you think?
Nope. There's a lot of different stuff in here, and some of it's our department, and some of it we help promote for other places as well too. So yeah, there's a lot of information in the Buckham Bulletin.
But one of the things before we go to break that I'd really like to touch on is the fundraiser you're having for the dog park.
Yeah, we do have a breakfast coming up. It's not until April, but it's the week after April, on April 12th. We'll be having another fundraiser out at the American Legion. So come on down that morning. I believe it's 8:30 to noon on that day. And if you're interested in planning, the timing is good. We have a meeting tonight at 7 o'clock at the community center. The dog park task force will meet tonight, and we'll start getting planned up so that we're all ready to go for that Sunday event.
And wasn't it last year that you put in the shelter?
I believe that was 2 years ago now already. So this summer will be 2 years already on that. So it was a great ad for us up there. People really appreciate having that up there. Last year we added a bench, another memorial bench to the park, and so it's been great.
You need more of those?
We can always use more. We're always willing to put them in. People are always, if you can get more places for people to sit, and we can do them those style benches that we use so that they're maintenance free. It makes it a lot easier for everybody up there. We don't have any future maintenance on them, and there's places to sit, and then people can just sit and enjoy the time and spend a little more time in the park.
Do you hear that, folks? If you want to do a memorial bench in the dog park, get a hold of Paul.
Yep, we'll certainly work.
Peanasky's in studio. He's the Director of Parks and Recreation for the city of Faribault, and we appreciate his stopping by, talking about the Buckham Bulletin that just came out, talks about March, April, and May activities. Where do you want to start, Paul?
Well, probably one of the first big things that just started yesterday, picnic shelters. Time to start reserving your picnic shelters. Yesterday was the first day we take picnic shelter reservations for this coming summer. So if you've got a specific date or park that you want, now's the time to get down there and get the reservations in on those before those start filling up, because they fill up pretty fast. We take a real onslaught of registrations probably the first week or so, and then it slows down a little bit until the weather warms up. But there's a lot of people that have family reunions and different things, graduations, family get-togethers, company picnics, all that stuff, and they need a shelter. So now's the time to reserve those shelters.
Do they get full every summer?
Not 100% full, but we get a lot of shelters, especially on weekends. There's a lot of weekends that every shelter in town has been in use.
Cool.
So, yep, they're a great amenity into the city system here, where people can go down there in a fairly inexpensive way to have a good gathering.
And they're located in more than just one park.
Yep, we've got them at North Alexander Park, South Alexander Park, Slevin Park, Two Rivers Park, Wapakuta Park, Maple Lawn Park.
Well, you were doing this all off the top of your head.
Yeah, that might be it.
That was incredible. How many parks are there in Faribault?
We have a total of 39 different parks in the community here. So some of them are smaller, some are bigger. I mean, people know of the larger parks much more so. There's a couple of real small parks as you drive around town and stuff, little neighborhood parks, and some are even smaller than neighborhood. They're just itty bitty ones, but there's a few of them out there. So, but the main parks are the big ones that everybody knows about: the North and South Alex, Wapakuta, Tipitanka. Some of the big ones out there.
Well, we are very, very happy that they had the foresight to put in the Alexander Park. Of course, we all know the history on that. It was, not very popular at the time.
It was not popular at the time. So yes, that was a lot of good insight on the elected officials back in those days.
Because despite of what people were saying, they had the vision to save that land for good use.
For good use, and it's worked out well. It's an area that all three governmental entities in town, the city, the county, and the school district, we share parts of that park, and it works out really well for everybody. In fact, we're meeting later this week. We have an Alexander Park task force that meets at least once a year, and we just talk about what's going on so everybody's aware of what everybody else is doing. And that group meets on Wednesday night this week. So it's kind of, we're kicking off the summer when shelters are going on, and we're talking dog parks and Alexander Park meetings and stuff. So everything's kind of coming around, and it's time to start firing up for the new year.
Well, it hasn't been the winter it was the last 2 winters in terms of snow, but we've certainly had enough cold.
We have had enough cold, and it's been cool enough. I mean, one thing that we got a slow start on our ice rinks. It was probably the middle of January before we even got the ice back in up at Jefferson. We almost had it ready to go before the holidays, and then we lost it all, and then about the middle of January, but we've been going pretty strong with the ice rinks up at Jefferson, so they're doing well so far. Long term, doesn't look real good going into another week or so out here, because as the sun gets hotter and hotter, it gets really hard to maintain those outdoors.
Is it utilized a lot?
It does get quite a bit of utilization, especially the the two hockey rinks that are down there. We get a lot of people who love the drop-in hockey and can come play. But then we've also got the one recreational rink up top where people with no sticks can skate, and it's a nice place to skate and just enjoy yourself up there at no cost.
Talked about Alexander Park, and there's of course, a proposal. Well, it's not a proposal. It's actually going to happen now. A bike trail is going to be expanded through there.
And that is part of that has started. That's where you see all the construction around the 2nd Avenue Bridge. They're doing the connections on both sides of the bridge right now. So we're connecting on the east side and on the west side of 2nd Avenue there. And what they need to do is the section directly underneath the bridge was put in when the bridge was put in. So the foresight was there years ago when that bridge was reconstructed. And so now they're making the accesses to come off of that and come back up to the areas where they'll connect directly to the trails. And then as soon as that part gets done, and they're hoping to get a lot of that done actually later this week, or their plan is to put quite a bit of concrete down later this week, weather permitting. And if they can get to that point, then we'll be able to start working on other connections with the trail. But it's the most vital part right now, because if we don't get the concrete in and it starts to warm up too much and the snow all melts, then the water all rises, and that'll really hamper this project in that area. The rest of the trail will be able to go in, and that'll wrap through North Alex and go up towards Highway 3. It won't connect all the way yet, but it'll get up to that area. So it's kind of the trail to nowhere right now. And then we've applied for a couple of grants. In fact, one was submitted last Friday to try and get underneath the railroad track and connect up at Hewlett. And that'll be a very significant portion of this trail, because it'll connect the east side of town to North Alex and the downtown area all the way down to the middle school. So it'll be a huge connection where people can go both directions. It'll also tie you immediately to where the Mill Towns has a couple of connections, and it'll tie you back down to the Secaucus State Trail as well. So a couple of big connections coming up with that one if we can get some of the grants to move that next part forward.
So until that happens, I could go on the White Sands portion of the trail, go into Alexander, right?
Well, you can't get all, you'd have to go up on Highway 3 and actually ride on the shoulder from White Sands there to come up. You'd be able to come up, you'd actually, to get there from White Sands right now, because that section from 17th Street down to White Sands is also not there yet.
Okay.
So to do it the way it's recommended, you go all the way back over to Western Avenue and drive around on Western Avenue and come back down 17th Street. And then you can get onto the trail and go underneath 3 and 21 there and ride over. And then you'd have to go up on Highway 3 there, or 20th Street, and go underneath that railroad bridge and then swing back around into the park. That's the part that at some point will be better. The part that goes from 17th Street down to White Sands, the DNR is taking the lead on that one. It'll go in the MnDOT right of way. They've already acquired about $787,000, I believe, in federal highway funds for constructing that. They're looking at it to be about a $1.1 or $1.2 million project. So when that connection comes, that'll run the trail down along the median, not the median, but on the shoulder of the road, and there'll also be a bridge that crosses across the Cannon River there and takes you right into the White Sands trailhead facility area there.
There is maintenance involved in this too.
There is going to be maintenance involved in this, yep, and we have to take a look at them, because the one call we get a lot is how come parts of the trail are plowed and parts aren't. The parts that are not plowed, those are state trails, so they might be inside the city limits, but the Minnesota DNR is responsible for those, and they do not plow their trails. So if you notice areas where the trails are done and areas where they're not, that's the difference between city trails and state trails.
Oh.
Because state trails are multi-use trails, and so they are allowed to run snowmobiles down their trails.
And your trails are
not. Ours are non-motorized trails. So the connections we're putting in are designated as non-motorized trails.
A little bit confusing.
It is confusing until you spend a lot of time working with it. So yeah, there are sections where they're not supposed to have snowmobiles out there at all.
Well, let's get back to the Buckham Bulletin.
Sure. Anything you want to talk about? We've got all kinds of summer stuff on here. Probably the first big one that comes up with adults is adult softball. Adult softball registrations are actually being taken right now, and we'll be firing up with all of those. They'll be down in the park. The one rumor that we've heard out there quite a bit is that there's not going to be a women's league this year, and that is not true. There is going to be a women's league, and they're going to be on Wednesday nights again this year, the same as they've been. So they're continuing to move forward with that, with men's league on Friday nights and church league on Tuesday nights. So Adult softball certainly is not as big as it once was in Faribault, but it's still a fairly strong organization. We look at a lot of the towns around us; they're struggled a lot more than we have with our adult programs.
I wonder why that is. Is people just too busy, or what?
Well, I think there's more to do than there was when softball was real popular everywhere. There's other activities. There's pool leagues and there's dart leagues that take up some of them. You also got a lot of parents who are chasing their kids around, do a lot more activities. There's a lot more traveling sports than there used to be.
That's true.
And so the parents that are active are very active doing that. So we've heard a lot of reasons why people just are not as involved with it as they used to be, or they only play for a shorter period of time. You don't have people playing into their 60s anymore. Like we had a lot of people playing into their 60s when I first got here to town about 17 years ago. So
you have an old man's league?
We don't right now. We don't have we've tried to get it going and it's not gone. We do in baseball. We've got the over 35 league in baseball, so it's still relatively young, but that's the Faribault Flames and stuff over there on the baseball side.
Yeah,
so.
Thinking over 35 old. I would give to be 35 again.
Few years back, wasn't it, Gordy?
Yeah.
I'm with you on that
Talking
one.
a couple of decades here. Seems like yesterday, though, Paul.
Yep. Yeah. It's you look back and time flies pretty fast, doesn't
And think of all the things we were chatting before going on the air here during the break. How many things that have changed since you've come to town in terms of new soccer parks? We got a lot of great facilities here in Faribault.
Faribault does have a lot of really nice facilities. Over the last decade and a half, we've added, the Washington Recreation Center, the soccer complex, the aquatic center, the new building out there in 4, 5, and 6 for softball. We've added several miles of trail. We've added the Armed Forces Reserve Center. Lots of parks around the community. It's been a lot of fun doing a lot of the different projects that we've been able to do over the last decade and a half. I shared
with you last time you were on the airwaves some folks from Rochester who told me how much they enjoyed our soccer complex here in Faribault. They were jealous.
Yeah, we get a lot of positive comments with the soccer complex, and that's been a really nice facility. It's a joint facility. It's maintained by 3 organizations: the city, the school district, and the soccer association. And we've worked really well together to make sure that we get the amenities that we wanted it. I mean, we'd like to do a lot more, but it takes money to do that. So we're on a slow pace to continue making improvements. But the school district would love to see some bleachers in there, possibly an announcer stand at some point where we can get somebody that can sit a little bit higher up and see what's going on to do some commentating on soccer games.
Yeah,
hint.
Yeah. My soccer
In your free time.
I can only imagine how that would go.
Yep. So we're also in the process. At this time, we're looking for sponsorships. We've got our Concerts in the Park series coming up. We've got, and actually we added last year was the first year, but we're doing a movies in the park series this year too. This will be our 2nd year of doing that. So they did 3 movies at the Aquatic Center last year and 3 movies at Central Park following the Concerts in the Park. And so we'll be doing that again. We've got our inflatable movie screen, so we'll be using that again. So we're always looking for different sponsorships for all that kind of stuff.
It must have been well attended, or you wouldn't still be doing it.
Yeah, it was very well attended. We probably averaged over 300 people per show. The only show that was down in numbers, we did try a show on July 3rd last summer. Not the night before the 4th, but just we thought maybe there were a lot of people that didn't have anything else to do, and wasn't badly attended. We had probably 75 to 100 people there, but compared to the 300 plus we had at all the other showings, it was way down.
Well, as always, I went to a number of the concerts in the park. I really enjoyed that on Thursday evenings.
Yep, they're fun to go to. They're inexpensive. Joel Ron has been coordinating and organizing those for us for a long time, and I think Joel comes in and spends a little time with you on the radio as we get ready to go each summer, and gets to talk about all the different bands he's got lined up for the summer. And the last 2 summers, Joel Ron and Jeff Jarvis have worked together, and they've written for legacy grants, so that's helped fund a lot of our concerts in the park, and have been able to give us 10 concerts during the course of the summer. And it's just a great way to go and just know that you're going to have a fun evening of running into friends and listening to good music.
Yeah, it's great. The band shell gets used.
Yep, yeah, it does. It gets a lot of use down there right now. I think we've already got a couple of weddings lined up for this coming summer, and the band shell already as well too. So it's a really nice amenity to have.
And if people haven't been by the community center, Paul Peanasky, the director of Parks and Rec, is with us this morning. Different sort of equipment in your weight room.
We did. We replaced all the equipment out of the weight room. It'd been about 15 years old, the equipment that was there, so we updated all the equipment. So all the strength equipment in the fitness room has been updated. So it's really nice. It's a good high-end equipment. Come and give it a try, see if you like it. We're happy to have you come and join doing that. We've also got, the swimming pool, so you've got water exercise, lap swimming. We've got a gym that you can walk in. We have a lot of different amenities. We've got the group exercise. We've got yoga and Pilates classes, Tabata classes. We've got a great group of gals that do our group exercise classes that keep all that running. So a lot of exercise opportunities if you're looking for some opportunities like that, and they go year round.
Yeah, one of the things you mentioned before, I think during our break when we were chatting, was the fact that you had added some adult exercise classes that weren't here when you first got here.
Yeah, when I first got here, we didn't have any of the adult exercise classes. We had a fitness room that had only 1 or 2 pieces of equipment that even worked in it. So we had 1 or 2 people that used it on a regular basis, and other than that, nobody was in there. Plus, it wasn't air conditioned at the time, so in the summertime, that room would probably get to be 110, 115 degrees in the middle of the building. It just was hot and unbearable in there. So made a lot of good improvements over time with that.
It never ceases to amaze me. That pool is used a lot down at the community center.
It starts at 5:30 in the morning, gets used every day till usually between 7:30 and 8 o'clock at night when we start closing down for the night. So yeah, busy place.
And that's good.
It is good.
They say it's the best exercise you can do.
You don't have to deal with all the gravity. It's just a great place to come and exercise, and
easy on your joints.
Really easy on the joints. We get a lot of people that have had joint work done, and it's a good place to come in and get yourself fit again.
Yeah. In fact, I would guess that some of the orthopedic folks might recommend that.
I believe we've got some down there because of that. So,
way to rehab.
Yep. It's a great rehab facility.
Whether it's a knee replacement or a hip or whatever it is.
Yep. Yeah, we do. So, one thing I do need to mention that's in the bulletin, not one of our better moves that we made. We have an error in it, a big error in this one.
Uh-oh.
Anything and everything dealing with Riverbend Nature Center, somehow we put last year's information in.
Oops.
So if you're looking for activities down at Riverbend, don't use the Buckham Bulletin this time. We want to refer you back to the Riverbend's webpage or to the City of Faribault Park and Rec webpage. It is correct on those areas, but it's incorrect in the bulletin. We had everything ready to go, and somehow when we slipped it all together to take it to print, we slipped the wrong page back in, and we had last year's information. So just if you're looking for Riverbend again, just go to the Riverbend website. It would be the best place to go, and you can go right in, and then they can help you with registration as well there too.
Yeah, another neat place that we have here in Faribault.
It really is. It's a hidden treasure here in Faribault. And it's been really nice to have a facility like that.
Yeah, it really is one of my favorite spots in town.
Yep.
Want to do a little reflecting, go out there for a walk.
Go out for a walk. There's all kinds of different ways to get in and get out of Riverbend. If you're walking, you can walk on the city trails and get in there. You can walk through Teepee Tonka Park. You can drive right up to their center. You can park as you come into the park and get onto trails. There's all kinds of different accesses in and out of the park there, so it's a great amenity.
Yep. If you're a bird watcher, there are all kinds of species there in Riverbend.
Sure, absolutely.
So, a treasure for sure. Riverbend Nature Center.
Yep.
Anything else before we boogie out of here?
I don't have anything specifically other than that. It's just a reminder that you can do, instead of having to come to the community center like you used to have to, we do online registration. So you can go to the city's webpage and register for any and all these youth programs. All of our summer swimming lessons, all of our summer ball programs are all in this current that just came out. So you can look at them online. You can look at them in your bulletin if you got it at home, and go online and register so you don't have to trek down to the community center like you once had to do.
I pay for them online too.
So, yep, everything's paid for. No extra fees to do that. It's just, you just pay the actual cost, same as you would if you came down. So,
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I paid a bill the other day and I did it by phone and they charged me $11.
yeah, a lot of places charge you a little extra service fee to do that, and we're not one of those. We just, that's part of the fee that you pay when you pay for the courses, so there's no extra fee added in at all for online registrations.
This pickleball looks very interesting, but it looks like you got all ladies playing.
Well, we don't though. We do have men that are playing. In this particular picture here, we've got ladies in it, but in the back of the bulletin here. But it's a great program to come on down and drop in. They've got a couple of different times that they play. They play on Tuesday and Thursday mornings, and then also on Tuesday evenings. So if you've not played and you want to learn to play, it's a great game. It's kind of a cross between like tennis and ping pong. So you play on the gym floor. We've got a couple of nets in there, and they have a lot of fun, and they're very encouraging to new members to trying to get people to join and learn to play the game. A lot of our members they'll go up and they'll play on opposite days, either in Northfield or down in Owatonna. So a lot of very active pickleball players.
The gym, always available. That used to be my cool down when I went down to your weight room religiously, which unfortunately I haven't done it in a number of years. But when I used to go down there, that used to be my cool down. I'd go in the gym and shoot baskets.
Go shoot baskets, or go for a little walk around the edges of it and stuff. Yeah, we still get people that do that quite a bit. We do get more and more programming in there, though, so sometimes you have to walk around to other people's activities, but there's always room to be doing that someplace in the gym there, whether you're on one side of it or where you're at. But it's a great facility to have down there. It's been a real boon for the community.
And it is open in the summer.
And it is open in the summer, and it's air conditioned. So we get a lot of drop-in basketball still going on. We still have noon ball for people that want to come and play basketball over their noon hours. So just check it out or give us a call down at the community center, and we can tell you if we're having it that day or not. Most days it is, but we usually encourage people to call because every once in a while we'll get a rental down there even over the noon hour, and so we hate to have you travel down there to play noon ball, and we're not having it that day for some reason.
You mentioned reunions and the shelters. Can I reserve the gym for a reunion?
We actually rent up at Washington Recreation Center. We rented that facility out. The community center, because there's so much other stuff going on, we really don't close the entire facility down very often. We do have a lot of rentals down there after hours. So on Friday and Saturday nights, a lot of times we'll get larger groups at the community center. But we try not to shut it down, because even if you're in the gym, the racquetball courts and the fitness room and the swimming pool would still be in use down there, and possibly even something in the Peterson room. So we do refer a lot of those over to Washington. We do get quite a few different reservations and stuff at Washington that'll deal with full family reunions, and they'll rent the entire building over there.
What are we talking? 90 days before the pool opens? Aquatics?
March, April, May, yep, probably about 90 days. So got a little bit of a late start this year. I believe school goes a little bit longer this year. I think this is a year that school goes to June 5th or 6th, and we open the first day after public school gets out.
Oh, okay.
So
I always thought it was around Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, it used to be the first couple of years, but we've been the first day after public school ever since probably after the second year. I think we switched to that.
Sounds great.
So
fantastic.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
The date of your fundraiser.
The dog park is on April 12th, Sunday, April 12th, from about 8:30 until noon at the American Legion.
Thanks, Paul. Appreciate you stopping in.
Thank you.
Paul Peanasky, Director of Parks and Rec for the City of Faribault.